a passionate subject for me. And it is politics in action. Economics is not merely to be taught in some schools or colleges, even do a PhD in economics. It is politics in action. So, we have to be very careful when you deal with the subject called economics. And if you take even law, yesterday there was a very detailed judgment on outlawing section 45 of the PML Act by the Supreme Court, where they started to deal with Magna Carta, para 16, up to para 15, para 16, they dealt with the Magna Carta, and they applied the 8th amendment of the US Constitution and draw reference to that. That's applicable. H2 plus O2 is always 2H2O in chemistry. Whether it is in Rajasthan, whether it is in Alabama, whether it is in Sydney, whether it is in Tokyo, H2 plus O2 is 2H2. You can't change the formula. When I started my practice, my senior asked me, where do you want to practice? I consider myself a very fortunate Indian, because I'm a Tamilian. I was brought up in Calcutta. I had great, friends in Bombay, and I wanted to practice in Delhi. So my senior asked me, where do you want to practice? I said, iska matlab kya hai? How does it matter? He said, in Delhi, people will work less, earn more, spend much more, they will be happy. In Bombay, people will work more, earn more, spend more, they will be happy. In Calcutta, they will work less, spend less, earn lesser, they will be happy. In Chennai, people will work more, earn less, spend lesser, they will be happy. So, route to happiness amongst the same chartered accountant group or the lawyer group is one and the same. It's not the same amongst the 4 metros. You go to an auto fellow in, say, Bombay, ask him, "Aaj kya hua?" "Sir, aaj to Reliance ka share lुढ़क गया, sir." And this is biggest problem. In Calcutta, Mohan Bagan हारेगा. Mohan Bagan हार गया तो दुनिया अंध हो गया. In Delhi, if he doesn't abuse Kejriwal, he is not an auto driver. And in Chennai, he has to say which heroine got married for the 3rd time and she is pregnant for the 2nd time. So this is how it is. In same class of society, same class of people, so you have to understand, economics cannot be applied uniformly. The application of economics as some sort of a formula that one size fits all, and that was what was the predominant thought in the early 20th century. There is a brilliant book, I would suggest all of you if you can get it, The Battle for the Commanding Heights of the World Economy by Daniel Ergin and Joseph Stanislaw. It captures the economic model of various countries, beginning World War I and ending with, say, 1995. It comes as a pbs.org 6 hours BBC story documentary. It's also recommended if you have 6 hours of time, you can have a look at it. What does it show? When predominantly Marxian thought was the only thought, the prevailing thought in world economics, and especially after World War I and World War II, where people did not have confidence to start business, there was an economist called Lord Maynard Keynes who said, don't worry, government will pump money into the economy. Government will do projects. Government will run schools. Government will run colleges. Government will lay roads. Government will run factories. Government will produce steel. Government will run airline industry, and so on and so forth. Everything government will do. And that will create investment, that will create job, that will create production, that will create consumption. Economics is a simple subject made complicated by economists. What is economics? I will tell you, take this as a Moola Mantra. There is production. If there is no production, no economics. This production must lead to consumption. But it must not be avaricious. That must be tempered, and in a sense it must lead to some sort of savings. If you consume everything, जैसे कि कोई गेहूं का खेती कर रहा है, if he consumes every bit of गेहूं, he will not be able to sow the next seed for the next crop. He has to keep some bachat for the next crop. Savings must lead to production, investment, and investment to production. So production, consumption, savings, investment, investment back to production. If this formula is going on like a piston of a four-wheel car, now there are 4 pistons, and if they balance each perfectly, there is no problem. But in real life, it doesn't match. So you have monetary policy, fiscal policy, taxation policy, import policy, export policy, currency policy, this policy, that policy, channels after channels asking, "Aapka kya rai hai?" And people saying, "You know what I mean, you know." उसके माने उसको समझ में नहीं आ रही, तो सोच रहा है क्या बोलूं. So all these things happen in our day-to-day life. But economics is such a beautiful subject that you cannot apply, as I said, uniformly, which was what was the Marxian thought. So what we did after 1950, and perhaps Nehru was right in a way, that this was a country which was ravaged by 1,000 years of invasion and 200 years of British rule, of which 90 was by the British government from 1857 onwards. So there was lack of confidence, lack of investment, lack of public enterprise, private enterprise. So Nehru said the government will occupy the commanding heights of the Indian economy, like all places. In fact, in 1945, Churchill won the war for Britain. But he made a cardinal mistake. He was talking about private enterprise. He was talking about lesser role for government. Whereas athletes said exactly the opposite. And despite winning the war, despite defeating Hitler, Churchill lost the elections. Can you believe an Indian Prime Minister defeating Pakistan and losing an election here? But that does not happen to Churchill. Churchill defeated Hitler in World War II, but he lost the elections in Britain because he made the cardinal mistake in 46 that he did not believe in that economics of those times that was to place the government at the commanding height of the world economy. But does this one size fit all work? It worked in 1950s, 60s. Every government, whether it was China, Japan, Russia, Britain, America, which is now considered to be the father of free enterprise, did not believe in free enterprise the way it is believing today, even up to 75. In 75, the size of a sandwich was determined by a babu in America, which was to be given in a flight. Flight में जो sandwich मिलता है ना, उसका size, उसका thickness क्या है क्या नहीं है उसके अंदर, was determined by a officer, a civil aviation bureau officer in America. That was the level to which government were interfering. But then people found out this was not working. And this is how the word reforms came. First you deform the economy and then say इसकी सुधार करेंगे, and इसमें मनमोहन सिंह का नाम फैला रहेगा. Because from 50s to 1990, Manmohan Singh was a statist. He believed in commanding height of the economy to be occupied by the government. He was not a liberalizer. He was an accidental liberalizer. He was not an accidental prime minister. And in 1989, Mahathir Mohamad of Malaysia brought out a South-South Commission. He was the General Secretary. Whenever the term General Secretary is there, you must be very clear, it is a leftist organization. Whenever it is President, Vice President, it is a rightist organization. So ADMK always has General Secretary. So Congress has got President. So you must understand these two things. Now coming to the point that when this whole thing was drawn up, South-South Commission was done, Mahathir Mohamad invited Manmohan Singh to be the General Secretary. He opined that this whole idea that the government must occupy the central or the commanding height of the economy was very important. And within 6 months, he became the finance minister of this country, and without batting an eyelid, he took a 180-degree turn, and he said, "Maine kab bola hai sir?" Without any moral compulsion, nobody asked him. Luckily, in 1989, media was not aggressive as it is. The man took a complete U-turn. And in fact, South-South Commission report of Mahathir Mohamad's time of the period when Dr. Manmohan Singh was the General Secretary is not available anywhere. You try, if you get it, let me know. Now coming to the main issue. So the reforms started, and reforms swung from one extreme to the other. They said, we will privatize, globalize, liberalize. LPG model. Liberalize, privatize, globalize. And भैया आपके पानी में नल में पानी आ रहा है. You know, in the world of globalization, सब में globalization छोड़ दिया. So without talking about globalization, you are nothing. And whether globalization should have SASTION or ZATION, आज तक पता नहीं है. Or word itself is not globalist, but we will say globalist. So ये भूत चढ़ गई थी 2005 तक. Between 1990 to 2005-2006, we were all under the intoxicated influence of globalization. We said we have to completely do with everything. सरकार को एकदम उछल डालनी चाहिए, हमको सारी चीजों को बेच डालनी चाहिए, and we should have a privatized. सबको बेच डालो, BSNL बेच डालो, रेलवेज बेच डालो, इंडियन एयरलाइंस बेच डालो, सबको बेच डालो. Disinvestment, आप कितना disinvest करोगे? This was the prime question that was asked of, if I remember well, Yashwant Sinha, then of Jaswant Singh, and when the Vajpayee government fell, A.B. Baradan on 17th or 16th May 2004 made a very classical statement. We will not allow any disinvestment. When left was supposed to, support the UPA 1 government, and the stock market collapsed by around 20% on 17th May 2004. Sorry. So that is the whole idea of how liberalization and globalization were being thrust on us by the IMF World Bank. So let me take a small detour now. Why it is not working, and what is it that is working for India? Now, in this country, if you take Lord Shiva, he has a snake in his neck, like a stall. In winter times, your chief minister always wears a stall up and down and goes. So our Shiva Bhagwan will have one snake. The Devi will have a snake as an umbrella. They have two sons. Ganpati has snake as a belt. And Kartik Bhagwan has got snake given to the peacock, which is his vahan. Which means a snake is supposed to be very dangerous, but how the Lord and their family deals with snake. 4 people in the family. 4 of them use snake as one is using as a handkerchief, one is using as a belt, one is putting into the vahan, one is using as an umbrella. But the same snake is also revered as Nagaraj. In Kanyakumari, There is a town called Nagarkovil. Kovil means temple. And the presiding deity is Nagaraj, where people will go. And there Lord Vishnu, Shiva are all small deities. Big deity is the, snake. And people will worship. There are snake pits. Ladies will pour water, milk, give eggs. Even vegetarian people will, break the egg and give it and then go there, wash their hands. Very peculiar people. Now in this country, you suddenly import one model from outside, whether it's Marxian model or market model, and try to give them. It doesn't work. We are a very peculiar people. In 1993, Dr. Manmohan Singh requested a world-renowned economist who was an advisor to this government also, Arvind Pankaria's guru, Jagdish Bhagwati, and two other people to give an advice as to what should be done to, create jobs, make the Indian economy grow bigger. At that time, they said Indians are saving wastefully. ज़्यादा सेव करते हैं, इसको तोड़ना चाहिए. सेविंग्स रेट को रिड्यूस कम करो, एकदम कम करो, so that people will spend. When they spend, more goods will come to the market. So for that, create more malls, import more goods, reduce the customs duty, let the people come and buy, let them enjoy. Automatically jobs will go. This was the advice given by Jagdish Bhagwati, whose Shishya Arvind Pangaria was hired by this government as one of the advisors. Luckily he has left. Then what happened? At that time our savings rate was 10% of the GDP. Today it is 30%. The biggest problem with our economy is our ladies are far smarter than all the finance ministers. The lady in the house is the smartest. They went to the mall, they saw all the goods, AC में walk किया, चलो भाई आज क्या walking हो गया, चलो घर चलते हैं. And nobody purchased goods. Our savings rate went up to 37% in the year 2008, the height of the economic boom when we faced. It has since then tempered down to 30%. America, it is minus 9%. Which is the richest country in the world? If I ask you, you will say it is America. But America requires $2.5 billion of borrowing every day. That is around 15,000 crores. So, कौन पैसा देता है? No, World Bank doesn't have money. See, understand one thing. Money, supposing I want to make you rich. Can I give you all 20,000 rupees every day? Can I make you rich? Because पैसा का भाव नहीं रहेगा. That is why the Sanskrit word for economics is Arthashastra, material science. Unless you produce, you don't get economics. In Tamil it is called Porul Adhar. Porul means material. Porul Adhar, one where the Adhar is all material. In Sanskrit it is called Arthashastra. So, who is producing? China is producing. Philippines is producing. Bangladesh is producing. India is producing. And we give our goods to America. We are in a mad race to export and give goods to America. What does America give us? America gives us dollar. And America gives China maximum amount. And China gives back the dollar to America because it has no use and gets a pro note from America that I owe you money. This is the foreign exchange reserve of a country. India has got around $400 billion. China has got $2.5 trillion. If I say $2.5 trillion,
it's equivalent to our economy.
It is equivalent to our economy. It is equivalent to giving 1 nano free to every Indian. That is the money China has got in its foreign exchange reserve out of exports. There is no savings in China. Consumption in China. there is no savings in America. So both of them balance. So America is getting goods from China because it is a consumption economy. China is exporting goods to America because it is a savings economy. So both of them are like two drunkards. We call it two drunkard theory. In two drunkards, when they put arm in arm, they will go like this. They will gyrate, but they will not fall. Because one's gyration will always be counterbalanced by the other. China and America are like that. The world is watching. When one fellow will fall, the other fellow will also fall. Because if America collapses, what will China do? किसको माल बेचेगा? And America, अगर China collapse हो गया, so who will give माल to America? So this is the problem that America and China are facing. India is something peculiar. Why is India consuming also? And why is India a savings economy? With that I will close. Compared to America, we are a savings economy. Compared to China, we are a consuming economy. China mein there is no Diwali, there is no Pongal, there is no Makar Sankranti, there is no Navratri, there is no Ganpati, there is no this, there is no that. So what is happening is, there is no triggers for consumption. This is all culture that is triggering consumption. When you have to go and meet Bharat Bhai tomorrow, suppose Bharat Bhai invites me to his house, I will go with some sweet. I will go with a shawl, I will go with a garland, I will go with something. I can't go empty-handed. Now this, without this garland, this function could have gone on. But it is important that this bouquet or flower has to be brought in. What it means that because of this, probably this small talk by both of us, the flower vendor has got his dinner today. This is economics. This micronutrients in Indian economy is the most important thing that is called culture. लड़के की शादी करनी है तो बचत करनी है, लड़के को पढ़ाना है बचत करना है, किसी को कुछ करना है तो you know when we are dead after 6 months, 3 months, 9 months, 12 months, there is some rituals. We keep the economy going even when we are dead. पंडित को पे करना है, फूल लेना है, चावल लेनी है, कुछ किसी को पितृपक्ष करना है, ये करना है, वो करना है, चलते ही रहता है. So this is how economics run. There is nothing like this in China. China, what it is, there is only 4 days of function, which is Chinese New Year's Day. उसमें पटाखे लिए, उसमें नई कपड़े ले लिए, सब खत्म. 4 days में जो कुछ भी करना है, हमने किसी में पटाखे जला दिए, किसी में होली खेले, रंग, we do all sorts of things. किसी में चावल खिलाए, तो किसी में पूरा अनशन रहे. There are very very peculiar things. There is a calendar in Tamil Nadu which is called Rani Muthu. रोज का अलमनाक हिंदू अलमनाक देता है, उसमें बोलता है आज इस टेंपल में they will give you porridge free. आज इस यहाँ में कुछ करते हैं, यहाँ में इसमें रथ खींचते हैं, यहाँ में आज जाकर आप मंदिर में ये पूछ रहा, आज एक every day some मंदिर, it is not the same मंदिर, it may be 400-500 kilometers away, but something is happening somewhere. This is what is driving consumption. When compared to China, why we are a consuming economy? You know, Navratri is a 12-day affair actually. Shadi is a grand affair. बच्चा हो गया, another event. नामस्करण में एक event. After 1 year there is one event. अक्षराभ्यास में एक event. We just go on celebrating every day. And then the wheels of economy are going. Let us take also one more thing. People commit suicide if they are not able to repay it. The same economy which is a consumption economy. People consume poison, pesticides if they are not able to repay. Even the most educated, literate lawyers also, when they get a call from the credit card banker stating that you have a due, please pay, they don't argue on anything. They better go and pay. Insolvency and bankruptcy code is only for NCLT. Real life mein nobody can do it. Face it. Because our Samaj does not take an insolvent. We don't, in America you can say chapter 11 bankruptcy code, I have filed. But in India you cannot say this. Because every person believes that he has to repay and repayment is his dharma. बच्चों को पढ़ाना अपना धर्म है. Old people of your family to be taken care of is your dharma. Widowed sister is there, you take care, it is your dharma. Your jobless brother, his family to be taken care of, it is your dharma. It is not sanctioned by law. So, we have a savings economy because of the dharmic values. And this dharma is not taught to all of us in the same way. You may be taught this dharma in a different way by your family members. To me, and I am not saying my family is superior to you or your family is superior to mine. All I am saying is we have an introduction or basic understanding of dharma, and that is what makes us culturally refined, and this culture impacts our economics. But for it, we would also be like Americans, having every adult in America has got seven credit cards. America has 20 crore population, 140 crore credit cards. हमारे पास भी credit card है. That is only to ornament my purse. Use नहीं करते. And you will be surprised that the personal loan to GDP is one of the lowest in India. And it is backed invariably by some asset like car or house. Whereas in America, people take loan to go to Bahamas for a holiday. You pay $1,000 EMI every month. Take $10,000, go to Bahamas. Do we ever do that? Have you ever seen even the upper middle class not taking loan to go abroad for a vacation? They may be able to afford it, but they will never do it. Taking loan and going abroad for vacation is unheard. But in America, it is very common. The spending urge is curbed in this economy by culture. The spending thrust in this economy is also triggered by dharma. And both these are maintained. The balance in this, I am not able to explain how it is done, but it is done by the lady in the house. Only my mother knows where to spend. And mother will also have a last veto of not spending. Garment. I am sure you would have faced it. This is what is my opinion, and this is what she will say is the law, and you cannot spend. But when she wants to spend, and it has to be spent. If this marriage 2,000 kilometers away, we have to go, whole family. And the next door we have to not go, we don't have to go. So my mother is like the president, who will have, too much of power of veto. Every house has that. That is the culture. And when we talk about economic model, we need to intertwine this. In America, there is no family. 50% of the children are single parent child. They have seen their father or mother, not both. It's very peculiar. They have seen their stepbrothers. In India there is nothing called stepbrother. Very rarely we do come across this term called stepbrother. But stepbrother is a very common thing in America, where half your brother is there with you, half your sister is there with you. Because it is the breakdown of the institution of marriage. So I will come to the last part. What is civilization? Anybody? When did man become civilized? When do you draw a line in the timetable in the history of time and say that at this point man migrated from being an animal to man? The terms of equation between the man and his wife were set. The animal became man. In Christianity, that is sin. Man living with a woman is sin. In Islam, it is not accepted. One man and four ladies. What happened to the three gents? They obviously become jihadis. So you have to understand how important it is to set the basic equation right. The basic equation gets right only when the man and the women have a proper equation, and that is family. Family ensures spending, family ensures saving, family consumes, family also produces. That is economics for me. And unless we understand this, unless we appreciate this model, unless we look at it as some sort of and intertwined with culture, economics as being an integral part of culture and culture being an integral part of economics, we will not be able to understand economics. That is why on 6th August 2011, America's sovereign rating was downgraded from by Standard & Poor from AAA to AA. That time Pranab Mukherjee was the finance minister, so people asked him, what is your opinion? And he simply said that the fundamentals of Indian economy are strong. Whenever a crisis comes, the finance minister of the country will say this. And he is not the last finance minister. Finance minister after Arun Jaitley sir will also say the same thing whenever they are going to get confronted with a crisis. What do they mean by this? They mean household savings is around 24 to 25%. And the national savings is around 30%. That means we don't depend on foreign for money. Our foreign money to GDP is just 1% of the total investment. But 98% of the total investment in India is made by domestic savings. Foreign savings is only 2%, maximum 2.5%. 97.5% comes from domestic savings, meaning your house, my house, your wife, my daughter, your sister, my sister. These are the people who save. And this is what is the fundamentals of Indian economics. That a reform process, unless it's going to dovetail to this model, you cannot go and change my mother. The finance minister of the country, whosoever it was, from Shanmugam Chetty to Arun Jaitley, cannot change the way my mother will behave or your mother will behave. They have seen worse people, from Aurangzeb to Akbar to Manmohan Singh. You should never forget that. So they will never be changed. And they will bypass this and they will know how to model themselves. So an economic model that understands society, understands the cultural genius of these people, understands how people behave, understands how people react. We are not animals, we are a civilized people. So the economic model for animals is different from economic models for civilization. Unfortunately, what we lack is a proper documented right-wing economics in this country. We don't have it. Unless we bring out that and document it and prove it that Western thoughts of Marx or market is not workable for a civilization which is in action. We are a civilization in action. Unless this is done, it's going to be difficult to counterbalance the ferocity of thoughts that come from the West. I only hope that youngsters like you start documenting and preparing a model. And I am seeing that all of you are articulate people, can articulate your views. All of you need to think about this. This is work in progress. It may take another 50, 60 years, no problem. For us, somebody asked me GST में और कितना दिन रहेगा? I said it will take around 20 quarters. क्या हो जाएगा? 5 साल क्या है? कुछ नहीं है. हमारे लिए 5 साल प्रॉब्लम ही नहीं है. हम तो टाइमलेस है. हमारे our त्रेता युग का किसी को पता नहीं है. 40 million old कोई बोलेगा 40 years old पीछे दिखेगा क्या है? We don't have an idea of time at all. So, and neither this way also. On the negative side or on the positive side, we don't have view about time. Time is timeless for us. So, don't have to worry. We can always work. Probably, I am sowing a seed. Probably you will nurture this thought. Probably your grandchildren may get a Nobel in economics. on Hindu right-wing economics, of what model it should be, what is the theoretical prescription. Because Marx has failed, market is failing in front of us, world over. World is in search for an alternative model. And India is actually a performing civilizational model. India, it's an elephant in the world, it's an elephant in the room. Everybody is seeing it, but nobody is able to appreciate it because nobody has documented it. If only that is done, and youngsters like you can think about it. And I hope one day or the other we will document it. Thank you all for attention.